Bom dia! I am Alan, and I'm here with my wife Leslie, our son Wolf, and our dog Greer. We are from the United States and now live in Portugal on the beautiful island of Madeira. We would like to thank all of our subscribers for being here, and for anyone new, we hope to earn your subscription today. In today's video, we spend the day in an area of Funchal, north of the downtown and close to Jardim de Santa Luisa Park. Although it's uphill from downtown, it's still very walkable. It's intermixed with apartment buildings, older residential, and mixed-use commercial establishments. Overall, a nice neighborhood. If you have been with us through the last couple of months, you know we've been sharing the journey we started years ago from our couch in the USA. Our journey of living and retiring abroad has been and continues to be our greatest adventure. We discovered that while we were on our journey, we worked with many people to help us get through all the processes and occasionally stumbled along the way. Our aim with the It'll Be Fun channel is to share our experiences and build a community to help others along the way. We have created multiple video series to discuss our why for moving abroad, finances, created how-to videos based upon our learnings, moving to Portugal series, living abroad, and building a new friends base in a foreign country. Today we continue our series talking with new friends about their experiences. We also want to invite you to support us by joining our new Patreon community. You will find the link in the description of the video. Let's talk about it. We hope you will find our journey helpful as you work to navigate your own. It'll be fun. Vai ser divertido. In this series, we will still take you along on our adventures so you can see the island of Madeira, Portugal, and any other places that we may visit. But we feel it is important to introduce you to our new friends, foreign family, and even some of the vendors that we have worked with along the journey. We hope you will meet someone along the way that reminds you of you and your situation. Someone who helps you to realize that you can create your own dream. It's not just for other people. This week, we would like to introduce you to Dottie. She is from Florida by way of New York. She told us she just turned 40. So everyone, please give her a big happy birthday. Leslie met her at a ladies' luncheon this spring, just shortly after she arrived. As every good American does, she hit the ground running and purchased a car so she could get around without worries. Her experiences on this journey are different and broad, but we let her tell you her story. If you remember, way back in the spring, we told you our why was to figure out how to afford to retire now. Our goal was to find a place in the world for our adventure that we could afford and would be all the things that we dreamed of. So I will start by asking the same question we ask everyone. Dottie, would you tell everyone a little about yourself and your why for moving abroad?
Okay, that'll be easy.
Okay.
My brother lives on the island. I came to visit him last year. He's been here about 3 years and has been incredibly happy. And I wanted to see if Madeira would work for me as well. So I came here with the intention of maybe moving here. And I was here 2 days when I knew it would work for me. I went home, I started my paperwork, and here I am. And it's been a great decision.
Many people looking to travel abroad have pets that they will plan to bring with them. As you know, we have brought Greer and Rex, our cat and dog. You brought Lacey, your dog, with you on your new adventure. Can you provide a step-by-step process as well as discussing your fears about that?
Yeah, it was an interesting process. I wish I knew more about it earlier. I had read somewhere that I would need to get like a health statement for the dog. And about maybe a month and a half before I was getting ready to come over, I was at the vet for just a routine visit, and I said, well, I'll see you soon because I need to have a certification for her. And they asked where I was moving, and I told them Portugal, and they go, oh, we don't do international certifications. So I had to scramble to find a vet who would do it. And at least in Florida, I don't know if it's this way throughout the country, the vets are stopping doing it because it's a hassle for them. They only charge a fairly minimal amount. I think I paid $250, but it's a lot of government paperwork. And it goes through the Department of Agriculture. And the vet visit has to be, I think, within 7 days of your traveling, either 7 or 10 days, I'm not sure now. But that means that the vet has to do his part of the paperwork or her part of the paperwork, send it up to, in my case, Ocala in Florida, wait for them to do their part and send it back and still make your plane. In our case, my paperwork got sent to Kentucky for reasons nobody has ever been able to explain. And the vet was a darling person. He was just wonderful. And he was calling every day to track where this was. On the day of my flight out of Miami at 4:30 in the afternoon, he met me in the Orlando post office at 9 o'clock in the morning, because that's where it was supposed to be. And that's when we got her paperwork approved, is 9 o'clock on the day that we were leaving. I actually had my cousin on standby to take Lacey if the paperwork hadn't come through.
Wow, that's really close.
It was very close. It was very stressful. She did really well on the flight. She flew in the main cabin with us. I did give her a little medicine, and she was very, very good on that. When we landed in Lisbon, we then had to meet with the vet there, which caused us to miss our flight to Funchal, but that was an easy fix. And I just love having her here with me.
Yeah.
She opens a lot of doors for us.
They're very important. Dottie, you have lived in 3 different places in a very short time period. Therefore, your experience with apartment hunting has multiple layers. We all know it's not easy to find a location that's in our price range. Would you share your apartment hunting adventures? And based on your experiences, what advice can you give to others?
Well, as I said, I started at a VRBO, and I kind of had an idea of where I wanted to be on the island. I was hopeful that I could be someplace where I could walk a lot. And it turns out that in Funchal, as opposed to other places on the island, you're going to pay a little bit more and maybe get a little bit less in an apartment size-wise. I also had to consider Lacey, because it does cut down the number of options you have when you have a pet. But she was here and she was part of the deal, so you have to know people, I think, to find places. And I wound up, I was working with a realtor, and she couldn't find a place for me that was in my budget. But she knew of somebody that had a villa that they weren't using. So that's how I wound up in the second place. It was intended to be temporary, and it was a very nice place. You were there. And but there was an urgency I had inside to settle into something. But it took me a while to find this apartment, and there just were not a whole lot of options. And again, I found this through a friend at a luncheon. I met a woman also from America, and she invited me to her apartment, which is in this building. And she said, oh, there's a rental downstairs that's available. And I walked in and I knew this was the place I wanted to be. So I've signed a lease here, and hopefully I'll be able to renew it year after year.
Yeah, it's a very nice place. You did good with her. As you know, that I shipped my 1970 Volkswagen Beetle to the island and have not purchased a car. You made a purchase very soon after you arrived. Can you explain why you felt you needed to have a car and how the buying process went with you in Portugal?
Okay. Um, it's absolutely mandatory, in my opinion, to have a car here. Now, I have friends that don't, and but they don't get to see as much of the island as I hope to see. And so I had the rental car for a month. It was a large car. It was a 5-passenger car, and I had a very hard time driving it on the narrow roads. It was a stick shift, and it was hard to park, very hard to park. I returned the car after a month with numerous dings on it. At one point, we knocked the hubcap off, parking somewhere. So I knew I needed a small car. And my brother was instrumental in my search, and he found a smart car advertised at what he thought was a very good price. And I got in touch with the man, and he is a man who I think works part-time for a car dealership, but I bought the car from him directly. And he took me out for several test drives and showed me all the things on the car. It's one of the best decisions I made was buying that car. I love that little smart car. It's an automatic or stick, whatever you want it to be. And despite its very small size, 2 people are very comfortable in it. It can hold bags and bags of groceries. Lacey loves riding in it, and it was a good decision.
Each of us has different experiences, and we find it helpful to learn from everyone we meet. What would you recommend that someone new to the island do when they first get here? We know that you have discovered some wonderful coffee shops and restaurants. We are hoping that you will share your experiences with everybody.
Well, of course, I had the advantage of my brother was here, but mostly I would say, for instance, on Facebook, there's all these groups of Madeira groups. There's Madeira Now, Madeira Life. You can be in touch with other people already on the island, and they're sharing their experiences with you, so that you have somebody to call when you get here. I was very fortunate. When I was in Madeira last summer with my brother, I met a woman at a group dinner, and we stayed in touch when I went back to the States. And when I got here, I called her, and she said, "Thursday, there's a big luncheon. I want you to come." And it just snowballed from there. At one point, I was so overwhelmed with all the new friends I was making, I actually created a list, and there were 8 people on the list, and 7 of them, their names began with M, and I was not being able to keep them straight. So I actually created a book where all of my new friends have a page where I write down where they came from or where we met, or because I was really having a hard time meeting 4 or 5 new people at a time and going home and trying to remember who was who.
Excellent.
So it's been really easy meeting people here. And one of the things that I remember thinking about Madeira Island was how many friends my brother had here. I think more friends than he ever had in his life. And we have time to develop our friendships here since we're all retired.
Mm-hmm.
It's a huge blessing.
Everybody has something in common.
Mm-hmm.
Now, more than likely, everyone watching this video has watched the healthcare video about the woman with the dog bite. And that would be you.
Yes, it was.
Would you tell us your story in your own words?
It was a good dog. It was really not his fault. It was my neighbor's dog when I was living at the villa, and he was excited, and I got my hand in the way, basically. And he gave me a pretty good bite. And so that was my introduction to good friends and to the healthcare system in Madeira. I called Alan and Leslie the next morning because it happened about 10 o'clock at night. And they came over and took me to the hospital, the emergency room. And we went to a hospital that is a private hospital. So you pay. It's not part of the Madeira healthcare system. But I think we were all blown away by what good healthcare I got there. The prices were very reasonable. And they took me within 5 minutes of arriving. I was attended by 3 or 4 different people. They took x-rays to make sure that there were no broken bones. And we were in and out of there in 90 minutes or so, less than 2 hours, I think. And it was a very, very positive experience. The facility was wonderful. Yeah, it looked brand new. I don't know if it was, but it was very nice. It healed beautifully. I went back 3 times to have the bandage changed in the following week. And I was in and out in 20 minutes. So overall, I would have to say it was a very positive experience.
Dottie, we'd like to thank you today for your time and telling us about your journey and sharing it with us.
Well, it's been my pleasure, and it's a pleasure to be friends with you and to be part of a group of people that are so happy to be here.
Thank you very much. Thanks, Lacey. Please give us your thoughts in the comments below. We have made the process of connecting with us for a one-on-one meeting or to receive access to our trusted vendor listings simpler. Everything is now available in our Patreon. Our Patreon link and many of the websites or contacts we talk about can be found in the description of our videos. We hope you will continue to come along with us on our new adventure. We are grateful for the opportunity that we've been given. Life is short. We should have done this sooner. Please subscribe, like, and hit the notification bell to help us grow. The next stage in your life is a journey. Enjoy it.